Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play. This time around, it is Power Strike 2 for the Sega Master System, which is its own thing. There is a Game Gear game called Power Strike 2, but it is its own thing. Allow me to explain. Power Strike 1 was released in Japan under the name Aleste. It had one less level than Aleste did, and the anime-style storyline was removed. It was released on the Master System, and it was initially, I actually did not know this until now, it was initially only available through mail order, though it was sold retail later on. Then came Power Strike 2, which has... here's the thing. Before I start stuttering any further. There is a Power Strike 2 for Master System and a Power Strike 2 for Game Gear. However, they are both two totally different games. What you're looking at right now is Power Strike 2 the Master System. It plays pretty much like GG Aleste, another game that has been shown extensively on One Credit Classics live streams to an extent. However, is pretty much its own thing. It has this plot that I've shown off earlier and is on screen right now, where the game takes place in an alternate 1930s, where you're a pod hunter and you're fighting the sky pirates, and you're going through 8 rounds of shooting all sorts of things. Kind of like GG Aleste. Not Aleste. I was corrected on the correct pronunciation of Aleste during the GG Aleste Let's Play. Thank you again to whoever reminded me of how it was pronounced. And while it plays like GG Aleste, it obviously does not share a plot with the Aleste games, and it's designed from the ground up, and it kind of has its own thing going on. Power Strike 2 for Game Gear, which we're not looking at, was originally released in Japan under the name GG Aleste 2 Landsberg, and is a sequel to GG Aleste instead of its own thing. So this one that we're looking at right now does not take place in space. The other one that we're not looking at does take place in space. I knew that'd take a little time to explain, especially since before I recorded this, I actually had to look up frantically whether or not there were two different games, and yeah, there were two different games. So I might as well mention that right now, in addition to how I found it on One Credit Classics. Anyway, when you start the game, when you press start at the title screen, you have weapon select. Type 0 is just your usual basic shot, and it can do quite a bit of stuff, but you can switch between one of 7 different types, and the one you pick is the one you're going to start the game with. Type 1 is shotgun. This one gives you a wide angle shot once you power it up. You have Type 2, which is missile. These things will home in on enemies and will be quite useful. There's Type 3, which is burner, which has 2 options to the side of you, which shoot out big, long flamethrowers, in addition to the one that your own ship has. And interestingly, if you have shields and you get the burner weapon, the shields will turn into burners, and you'll have to recollect the shields in order to get shields again. Which is fine, I guess. Type 4 is absorption, which is the homing shot that I was definitely used to in GG Aleste. I'll be starting with that. Type 5 is the destroyer missiles, which have these missiles that just shoot out and go back behind you before ultimately rocketing forward. And if you power it up, you get quite a few missiles. It can be pretty nice and pretty devastating if you know how to use it. And then there's Type 6, which is napalm. When you shoot out the napalms will pop out. Then they explode and they create these little rotating fireballs that will destroy anything that comes into contact with them. I'll be starting with Type 4 absorption because I feel like I'm at home with that weapon at this point. I mean, as far as weapons and compile vertical shoot-em-ups go. Game start lets you start a new game. Continue lets you continue from where you game overed if you decide not to continue. From where you lost all your lives immediately. You can still go to the tile screen and select continue and you'll be back to where you left off. After you give yourself a little bit of a breather, of course. Just make sure you don't turn off the power. And there's option. Option gives you quite a few options. You have your sound test, but you also have your player speed, which goes from 1 to 4. I'll be keeping the default of 1 for the time being. The higher the number, the faster you go. Trigger pause allows you to press button 2 to pause the game instead of the pause button on the Sega Master System console. Whenever I kept pressing 2 to pause, there was a number that always popped up, and it ranged from 1 to 4 the more I did it. I'm assuming that lets you change the player speed on the fly? Maybe? I'm not quite sure. I'd rather just keep it off regardless. And you have your difficulty. There are 5 difficulties. 1 is Crush, was the easiest one. There's Normal, Hard, Great, and Wild, which is the hardest one. I'm just going to be playing on Normal for this one. And of course, Exit lets you go back to the main menu, where you can select a weapon and start a new game or continue. So, much like GG Aleste, I will be playing everything in post-commentary. This is the only part of the Let's Play that I will be doing in live commentary, because much like GG Aleste, I would like to be able to play the game and concentrate at the same time, and if I talk and play at the same time, sometimes things I don't want to happen usually happen, and it is definitely true of a shoot 'em up. So from here on out, it's just going to be post-commentary. With that said, let's start the game. Alright, it is now time for the post-commentary part of the Let's Play, which is going to be the whole Let's Play. So with that in mind, we are going to switch to Type 4 Absorption, check the options menu to see that we're at rank 2 normal, which we are, and then we start stage 1. So there's your score in the upper left. In the lower right hand corner is your current weapon at the top, followed by the weapon strength in the middle, and the amount of lives you have at the end. The middle number will go from 0 to 5, with 0 being the weakest and 5 being the strongest. And the most you can have is 5. That's the strongest you can get it. So, you move around with the D-pad. You can move around in 8 directions. And you hold button 1 to fire. That's pretty much all you need to know as far as the controls go. As for what I'm picking up, the little gold things with the P's on them are the power pods. You use those to basically increase the power of your regular shot. And you use the little numbers to increase the strength of your special weapon. Sometimes you'll find like a miniature plane when you shoot down an enemy, much like the one in the lower right hand corner. If you pick that up, that'll give you an extra life. You also get extra lives as you gain points. You get your first one at 20,000. I think you get your next one at 70,000. I could be wrong on that. The little red thing that is spinning around me is a spin shield. The red ones will increase the firing power of your nose gun, which is your regular shot. The blue one makes your bullets blast through more than one enemy, which basically gives you a piercing shot. And yellow makes your bullets fan out in front of the Falcon Flyer, which is your plane, to hit more enemies. Yes, I am dictating this exactly as it is said in the manual. So if you want more of a spread shot, you get yellow, you get blue for piercing shots, and you get red to power up your main weapon. So I'm doing a lot of things that are going to basically help me preserve myself. I stay in front of enemies as much as I can, when I can, to more effectively destroy them, because the more firepower you put on an enemy at once, the more likely you are to destroy them more quickly. That bubble with the light blue star in it is a screen clear. It is called the Super Blast in the manual. And if you grab that, all on-screen enemies are destroyed. And you do want to destroy your enemies. At this point, I'm pretty sure I have my main gun at max level, even though my special weapon is not exactly there. But I will get my special weapon there soon enough because I pick up 2 4s in a row. I'm glad I got this weapon. And apparently I didn't get my second one-up at 70,000. But hey, at least I have piercing shots now. Those things are mines. They will shoot out these blue projectiles, which you can shoot down. You can shoot down some of the projectiles that enemies shoot in this game. And through trial and error, you can figure out which ones can be taken out by your firepower, as well as which ones can be taken out by the spin shields. It should also be mentioned if you get the burner weapon, which is number 5, while you have spin shields, the spin shields turn into options that shoot out the burner, but you can still pick up more spin shields to protect yourself with if necessary, assuming you can survive that long and you can actually get your hands on one, because things can get pretty hectic in this game. And now, it's time for the first boss. I let go of the button 1 to do this super shot. The longer I hold down the fire button, the more it's going to last. And the more times, the more the super shot hits the enemy, that super fire with all those little light blue chevrons, the more damage I can do in less time. Which is good because I can easily avoid the shots that come out of this thing with my spin shields, and you can shoot this thing down almost anywhere. And with that, we have our 50,000 points. And now we're going to get 80,000 when we beat the boss of Stage 2, which we will tackle in the next video. So, join me next time where I go through Stage 2. Until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching!